I'd just like to thank you, number one, right now for this podcast. Me and John were just talking about it just now. This is episode 37, and it doesn't feel like we have put that much time in, and I equate that to having a good time, and it is because of you that we even get to do this. So I really want to say thank you for that. I want to say thank you for John Boyle, my other friends that I have, my other family members. I'm truly blessed, and it's all because of you. And, Lord, I just ask today that it's going to be a tougher subject, and I ask that you help keep our hearts humble and look to you for all the answers. With that being said, thank you for forgiving us for our sins, and in Jesus' name I pray, amen.
Amen.
What is up, guys, and welcome back to the Skeptics Podcast, episode 37. My name is Dylan Hurley. This is John Boy.
Yep.
And we start every one of these off. John Boy, how you doing?
Doing good, feeling good. Seen some snakes today. It's that time of year, so watch out for snakes, everybody. Yep. They are out full force. Ticks are out too, but that's kind of just part of life. This guy loves when the ticks are out. And, yeah.
I had a girlfriend one time that's never got a tick, ever.
Oh, that was like...
and it was, when we first got together, I said... The goal is to get a tick. We have to go into nature to get a tick.
That's crazy.
And it was like, I don't know, 10 steps off of her doorstep. I just let her stand there for a couple hours. Just kidding. I didn't do that. No, we went on a hike, and she got a tick, and it was wild.
My sister was like, how can y'all feel them? Like, when she started coming around.
That's crazy.
And we were like, how can you not?
Yeah, how can you not?
I pretty much, dude, I know. I'm so good now. Also, real quick, let me ask this question. Do you ever think they fly in off the breeze? And then I can tell you why in a second, if you need more information.
Glide in off the breeze? Yeah. I would agree. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
I don't think they fly.
Well, not fly. I'm not saying they have wings, but yeah, like they just kind of float in.
Yeah. Or, I mean, I've actually, as crazy as it sounds, I've seen this happen. Walking by and me accidentally hitting a limb and one falling off that limb right over.
Oh, well, I can tell you that. They love pine trees.
Yeah, so it's like they're coming out of everywhere. Bro.
Oh, yeah. But I had one get on the upper part of my leg. And I'm like, brother, you didn't climb all the way up my leg. And I know he didn't. So I think he swooped in.
Tried to get me. Any way they could get to you, they're definitely there. And then it's like when you got to pick them off now, or somebody has made such a big, thing now. It's like, be sure you get the head off of there.
Yeah.
Because if you don't get the head, you'll die tomorrow. And I'm like, nah, I don't think so.
No, I never heard that, but my family was always serious about getting the whole thing.
Yeah. I mean, it's like, I'll take these tweezers and rip every bit of skin off if I really need to get this thing off here. But anyway, ticks are created in the lab in Plum Island, New York.
Starting off strong.
Yeah, starting off strong. No, but anyway, this is a really, really, this conversation is going to be an interesting one.
Okay.
Because I don't want anybody out there to think that we are, what's the word I'm looking for here? Lacking's probably not the best word, but it's the only word I can think of. Lacking faith. I don't want this to come across as anybody out there that when we question things like this, because Jesus says to question things. That's why we call this Skeptics Podcast. I was about to point to something that's not there. That would be pretty lit.
You just gave me an idea.
That would be pretty lit. But
I'm working on that.
We also have to find a place for one of the biggest hoax in the world. I'm on fire today. I'm on fire. So anyway, I said, this one's going to be a little bit of tough, but when we're talking about this, we're coming from a place of love, and obviously we love Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. He's our man.
Facts.
So anyway, the question that I'm going to ask, and then I'm going to ask why I asked the question. The number one overall question, like I said, guys, it's going to be tough. Everybody chill out. We all love the Lord. Is there anything that could happen that would, in your mind, I don't disprove God's not really the right word, but make you throw it all away? Is there anything in life that could happen to make you throw it all away? Reason I'm saying this, one thing, and remember me, guys, I am the conspiracy theory guy, not John Boy. This is me. It's like I already said this, and I've been mentioning in every podcast now that Tower 7 didn't get hit by an airplane. So anyway, with that all being said, the biggest one that I've had a problem with is any kind of thing that can manipulate time in space.
Mm-hmm.
So some people want to call it like teleportation. Some people want to be able to call it like time travel. I have a hard time with this one for the one reason of this. And it sounds crazy, but if we were able to manipulate time,
yeah,
and go back,
yeah,
and forward as far as we can, if somebody went back and tried to do the right thing, I mean, they were really thinking, and they were going to go back to Jesus on the cross and rescue him off the cross.
Yeah.
It's awesome mindset because as a human,
right,
take the spiritual aspect out of it, I would have hate to see my friend be up there.
Right.
Like, even if you were somebody that didn't think that he was the Lord and Savior, you would hate to see him up there because that's your buddy.
Yeah.
So that's the one reason why this messes with my head, because if somebody went back and did that, is it going to be like one of those memes where Jesus looks at you and he's like, "You're not supposed to be here, buddy"? or is it going to? Could you just go and do it, and does it change anything?
So I don't know enough about the whole time travel stuff.
And this gets really, really deep.
And so anything that has to involve this, in my mind already, is like we're pushing the boundaries of reality and logic. Okay?
Okay.
Like the idea of time travel, for me personally, why I am finding this conversation interesting is that it already doesn't seem like something that's possible. And maybe I'm not a big enough dreamer. Maybe that's my problem. But
it's a tough one,
for me to be able to move to a different point in time doesn't seem possible.
No, I'm with you.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I'm with you.
So I'm going to have to play the game of hypotheticals.
Because that's all we can play. Because we don't know.
Because the reality, for me at least, is that, well, that would be that could be a key component, right? You can't travel through time, and so therefore you can't go undo any of the Lord's work.
That's what I'm saying.
Right.
That's why with as much faith as I have in God, I don't think time travel's a thing.
Right. Well, I'm just saying, like, it sounds so far out for me personally that I don't think it could occur. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And then to answer your other question, could something happen? Man, I'm not going to say never. I think there's a song about that, Never Say Never, something like that. I don't know.
It's by Justin Bieber.
It's Justin Bieber, I thought so.
Shout out to that dude.
I think
he came to Christ lately.
Really?
Yeah.
I've been listening to pop recently.
Dude's a heck of a singer.
Is what it is. Shout out to Connor. He got me on it.
Right on.
But the idea, could anything break it down? Man, it would almost have to be I would have to have some kind of moment. So, like, people have these coming to Jesus moments or their coming to faith moment. Mm-hmm. I would almost have to have one so big that it took me out of my faith, because as terrible as it may sound, or as terrible as it may be to think about, some of that just is having to think about it. If you lose somebody you love, or if I get fired from my job and then I struggle to get a second one, or a new one, excuse me, I shouldn't say second, a new one, or something like that happens, like, to me, that's life. And
Right.
I think, I don't know. Maybe people don't really worry about that stuff. Maybe people don't even they don't think about it. There's a guy who I watched on YouTube, and like I remember when his dad passed, like he quit making videos, like his channel went off, it went downhill, and like crazy stuff because he had never imagined his life without him, without his dad. So when it happened, he was like, he didn't know what to do.
Oh yeah, I'm sure. I'm sure a lot of people.
And so I
that.
think people not having ever experienced or had to think through some of this stuff, and having the support while it happens, that's a big key component. Is having good support to work through these issues. That I think could be what gets a lot of people. Is losing somebody or whatever occurs, Their family member gets in a car accident, whatever. They can't walk again. It's like I seen a video of a guy today, LSU, number 1 lineman for the team, gets in a car wreck. No, that's a different video. Same guy, my bad. But he didn't get in a car wreck. He ended up having a mass on his brain, and they had to have surgery to like keep him alive effectively. But then after the surgery, his body like didn't work right. Like the piece of the brain they had to take shut down some of his motor function and stuff. And like his speech was really like mumbled, and it was really affected by the surgery. And you want to talk about a guy with a killer attitude? And so not trying to say that it all has to do with your attitude, because if you trust in the Lord, like if you have faith in the faith aspect of everything, like that will help you to a degree. I'm not saying that he's just going to answer everybody's prayers all the time, but maybe he ain't praying for that.
That's right. I ain't praying for that.
I ain't praying for that. But does that make sense? What I'm saying?
Yeah, because my biggest holdup on the question was, we live in a world now, where I think, could be proven wrong, that there is a lot of people that want to play God.
Yeah,
like they want the power. I mean, they want the fame. Some people believe money is it, and I often ask myself, at what point, the only thing that would ever break that question for me is there anything that would just make it all seem like it was not real? Is if we were ever able to achieve that, the I am God thing, and of course now we can do some crazy stuff. I mean, I think it was me, you, and Carson and Connor. I think it was talking about it, and we were talking about why is it that we don't see like miracles done?
Right.
That's like when Jesus gave the ability for his followers to go make miracles happen and everything.
Right.
And Carson was like, dude, we see miracles all the time. What are you talking about? He was like, we can bring people back to life now, almost.
Yeah.
Now, we can't do it to the scale that Jesus can. We can't go 4 days and then bring someone back to the dead. But with the
paddles?
And the technology we have. And now, whether you like him or not, Elon, I think, is getting to the point now where he can like bring people's eyesight back, that's crazy. And then we get to the point to where, I mean, I honestly believe this. I think there will be a point, if the government allows it or the big donors allows it, that somebody is going to be able to create something where you can start getting feeling back in things. I think that is on the horizon.
Yeah. Working on like the what is it, like your neural pathways?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think there will be a point. Heck, me and you met someone not really too long ago, but her legs didn't work.
Yeah.
I mean, normal, I guess would be the person. Now, it doesn't stop this chick from doing anything. This chick's, I mean, she does everything that you could possibly do in a wheelchair and then gets out of wheelchair and does it. Anyway, super awesome. Shout out to that chick.
Yeah.
But I personally think there will be a day to where that people like that will be like, now, then it gets in the iffy world of if we're going to be putting chips in the back of our head and all that weird stuff. I'm not really down for all that. But a lot of people that have problems would be down for that. And at what point can you start doing things that's like, hey, we're getting awful close to what the big man can do here.
So that
the only thing that we can't do at this point is essentially, now I could be wrong in the way I'm saying this, is manipulate time and space somewhat. And when I'm saying that, I'm also meaning like Jesus waiting to bring Lazarus back from the dead. It wasn't like you pass out on this table and I give you, my bad. Sorry. It's not like you pass out on this table and I give you CPR and you come back to life.
Yeah.
It's like you dying here for a couple days and me coming back and be like, oh, shoot, punch you in the chest and you come back to life or something like that. I don't think we'll ever get to the point to where we could do that. And that would be another one of those things where it's like.
So let me dive into this one a little bit. The way that I feel it differs, and this is where people have to be careful to not be overzealous with their thoughts or ideas about things. Just because we can use some paddles and restart somebody's heart, because we can go in and we can do these crazy surgeries like laparoscopically now, which is 2 little holes, and like
crazy.
There's a lot of like amazing medical science that goes on, as well as there's even some stuff that people are doing with clouds to try and help it be more cloudy over there in like the Arab Emirates.
Harps and chemtrails.
But there's some other stuff that there's some crazy stuff people can do today to try and manipulate things.
And I think it will get crazier.
And that's fine. The difference is though, like think about this. Let me give an example. Imagine I fall out, you run over and get an AED, okay? And you
I already know where you're going with this.
And you put the things on my body.
Right.
You press the button. You do everything that the machine literally tells you what to do. You do it. And it jump starts me like a car.
Right.
Let's say I come back to life. All right. That's all chilling.
Yeah, I would consider that's a miracle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But now, imagine you come upon me. You walk up. Maybe you just seen me fall down. Okay, and you walk over, and you say, in the Lord's will, bring him back to life.
Right.
And then you just, touch my hand, and boom, I come back to life. Big dog, there's a big difference, okay, and asking for the ability and then, making it happen versus, using a machine that we've designed to get the job done. That's why, And I almost going to have to get my mom on here. I ain't even going to care.
Call her up.
Because I remember driving to school and feeling bad for somebody who was blind. Not feeling bad for them in a way of oh, poor them or whatever. It was man, I wish they could see some of the stuff I get to see or do some stuff I get to do. And I thought it would be really cool if you could come up with a way to heal that or fix it.
Yep.
So if somebody comes up with a way to fix that, that's fine. Or if you have something that's going to help mend it, fantastic. But you didn't heal it supernaturally. That's the difference. And that's something that I've really been struggling with recently, this whole idea of the supernatural. Because I feel like when you say that, people think about zombies and vampires and crap. And I ain't talking about that crap, all right? But I am talking about, for a lack of better terminology, real magic. Okay?
Right.
There's no trickery going on. There's nothing tricking nobody. Okay? It makes me think back to the days of Moses. Here we go. You get ready for this. And, he goes to Pharaoh and he says, let my people go. And he's like, bro, we ain't listening to you. And so then God tells him, like, here's what we're going to do. Here's the plan. And so, like, he turns his staff into a cobra.
Mm-hmm.
And in all, like, if you're watching, like, the movies about this stuff, the Pharaoh, what's the first thing he does? He asks his high priests or whatever, these magician guys, to do the same.
Right.
And they use a bunch of smoke and mirrors and tricks, and then they throw some snakes down there, right? There's a big difference between using smoke and mirrors or using technology or any kind of aid, something that's helping you, versus straight up the Lord doing it.
Okay, I got 2 questions.
Yeah.
I need to figure out which one I want to. The first one I asked him.
Yeah.
So if we're cutting out all technology,
Mm-hmm.
I wonder how often the supernatural miracles are happening nowadays.
I bet they're still happening, but I think they're going to be slim.
Because why would you not have? Not saying it needs to happen, but why would there not be something like on that? And then how do me and you trust it?
So that's
because, like, imagine we saw something pop up. This dude was like, this girl was sick.
Yeah.
And through the power of Jesus, he commanded me to heal that person.
Yeah.
You know how many of us would be like,
yeah, I ain't
whoa!
I ain't gonna lie to you. Like, right at the gate, I'd be like, is this guy chasing clout?
Exactly. So,
Yeah.
I mean, that and that's coming from 2 people that believe a lot.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, I mean, how much often is that? Because I don't know how often, like, in the surgery room, God's like, brother, be sure to put it on the one part of the spine or you're a goner.
Yeah.
It's like him actually guiding him through there,
Right.
versus like he's got all this knowledge backed up with him that he's going in there and doing that.
Yeah, at what point is it Jesus take the wheel versus
right.
Yeah.
Because we say Jesus takes the wheel of our life, like in general.
Yeah.
But it's how there's not been many times where Jesus is like, hey, that girl's having a seizure. I command you to go stop that. And I'm not saying that
Right.
I'm nowhere near worthy for that.
Right.
For whatever. But it makes you wonder.
Yeah.
Because there's also another half of this is like maybe they are trying to silence that, or maybe they instantly get labeled as goofballs. I mean, I try to think of myself as Thaddeus when he's sitting there working with Jesus, and this dude's like, hey, you ain't got no followers yet. Not one.
Yeah.
No clout whatsoever.
Right.
And Jesus is like, let's just lay all this stuff down.
Yeah.
We'll catch it, go grab a cold one,
Yeah.
and we'll walk into Jerusalem. And Thaddeus is like, what are we doing for money?
Yeah.
And Jesus is like, nothing. I mean, that's a hard thing to follow.
Yeah, for sure. Well, and there's
he ain't even seen no miracles done.
But can I add this piece? As far as the spiritual side of it goes, that was like pre-revelation, right? Like that, people weren't really talking about that yet.
Talking about
Revelation.
Like the book?
Yeah.
No, where are you getting it? Where'd that come from?
I'm coming. Hey, chill, man. Stick with me. So that's where I think some people are a little overeager, right? And they're looking
overeager for revelations?
Well, they're looking. They're waiting. They're trying to get ready. They're trying to prep, right?
Oh yeah.
And they're always, I wonder if this person's the Antichrist. I wonder if that person is. No. And let me tell you, because I've heard this when people talked about, like, with the Elon Musk and this technology
that's what I was
stuff.
About to say Elon Musk is the Antichrist.
Dog. If we're talking about a spiritual being who's going to have powers, calling them powers is crazy, but has powers.
Yeah, real life Avengers.
And imagine this is how I like to think of it. Think about somebody who can snap their fingers and a lightning bolt comes from the sky.
Right.
Okay, there's a big difference in that and then designing something that gets the job done. Like, there's a big difference in, like, you say it and it happens.
Right.
And then finding a workaround.
Right.
You know
No,
what I'm saying?
I'm following you.
So that's, I think people have to be careful of that. And that's partly what may dilute some of this miracle stuff. You know, if people are always looking and they're like, they're always worried, you know, who's it going to be? Who's it going to be? Is it this guy? Is it that guy? You know, everybody's wondering when's the time coming? Instead of just being faithful and don't worry about when the time's coming. If you're doing right, all right.
No, I agree.
You're good to go.
No, I agree.
And so, you know, maybe a little bit of eval needs to occur with that, but with that ideology. But along with that, that could be what's diluting, like, real miracles potentially. Does that make sense? Like, if somebody sees somebody do something, they're like, oh. Or there's the other side. People just aren't sharing that information, you know, because it's not getting the clicks or the likes that it would.
See, it'd get clicks from me. Just like that one video. There was a video recently.
Yeah.
And dude was like, a tornado was coming towards his house.
Yeah.
And he was like, in the name of the Lord, I do not command you to come towards my house. You go the other way. And then his wife in the background is saying something in, like, Hebrew or something to talk this thing away. And I'm sitting there watching him. At first, I'm like, hey, but then this one guy said, he was like, it's worth a shot. And I'm like, well, so I'm like, it is. If you have full faith that the Lord could do that,
so
he could.
That's where I think here's a little two-piece action. Number one, that's where I would lean on, like, prayer, right? All right, we're gonna go get our storm shelter. Be like, Lord, if it's your will, go ahead and have it. But
he wasn't even like, this is your will. He's like, I command you in the name of the Lord,
right,
that you'll go the other way. And it didn't hit his house.
Well, here's the thing. Still, though, if it's the Lord's will, there's nothing you're gonna be able to do about it. Your life may look like Job's, okay?
Right.
So,
but maybe that guy for a split second was one of the disciples.
Well, here's the thing. If you have enough faith, okay, that you're not gonna send up a prayer, okay, and you have enough faith that it's not that in Jesus' name, and that God is going to not let it take your house.
Yeah,
you believe 100% for a fact.
That's what I'm saying.
All right,
that's the guy that's got full faith that's following Jesus into the temple
for sure. But here's the deal, okay. I would hope that you're bringing that kind of energy to the table like 90% of the time. I know we're humans, so we fail.
Oh, of course. And
so I'm not going to say 100% of the time.
No.
But imagine if, like, imagine you're a guy who's like, the rest of your life, leading up to this tornado, you're out, you're partying, you don't spend no time. But then you're like, all right, I know you got this. And then you pull that maneuver out.
I mean, you watch it at face value, and you're like, this dude's crazy. But then you're like, he's got the faith. I mean, he believes that thing ain't going to hit his house.
Yeah.
And he said he heard it from God. I can't tell him he's wrong because I'm not on a 3-way call. I'll say. So anyway, with all that great conversation right there, is okay. Let's try to, like, put in perspective, things that God did or Jesus did, miracles that we have or we have not done at this point.
Okay,
I think there's only one, maybe two,
probably more. Let's go.
He and I'm gonna forget some, so throw them out there because there might be ones I've not forgot about. And obviously these are not fully, but I do think it's
just Jesus or other miracles. Can we bring those up?
I guess I was just thinking Jesus.
All right, go ahead.
But now if you're talking about like Isaiah or somebody and him helping with a miracle, then yeah, I mean, we can bring those up too. But Jesus at first, like healing the blind, he did that one guy. We're getting to the point to where we can almost do that. And I honestly think it will be possible. I think we will get to a point to where we will, if, like I said, if the government allows it, we have the cure for cancer out there. I don't care what you say. They just won't allow it because there'll be a lot of lost money. So anyway, if we can get it out there and we're able to essentially heal somebody from being blind. Okay, we got that in the bag. Okay, what's another miracle Jesus performed?
Turn water into wine.
Okay, you might have got me on that one.
Yeah, hey, I had to throw a heater in there.
Yeah, because I was trying to think how that benefited anybody, but I guess I understand. It just benefited people for the wedding, and some people got to see. Nope, technically nobody did except for his mom.
Technically, but there was a few people who knew.
Yes.
And so that's building the faith.
So, man, I don't know. I almost think we could probably do that somehow.
Stop the cap.
Now, obviously, I'm not saying none of this is a snap thing, and it's happening. Obviously, with the blind thing, put a chip in the back of your head and you make yourself blind.
Yeah.
You could probably throw something in that water, and you could, if you stir it hard enough, you could probably turn it into wine. I could be completely wrong. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
So anyway,
I don't think
that's a good one though. That was a good one. Wasn't a thing about. He healed the one person from not being able to walk.
Yep.
I think one day we'll be able to do that.
Okay.
Now, obviously, there'll be technology that's involved in the thing.
Yeah.
We can already bring people back from dying.
Yeah.
Quickly.
There's a certain level of resuscitation.
Yes.
Not all.
Yes.
Not all forms. Yeah.
Sure. Okay. So then, there was that one girl that touched his garment that had essentially women problems, right?
Maybe
something bleeding. Yeah, something like that. If that hasn't been healed yet, I'm sure we can. It's just probably another one of those things. It's like is herpes the bad one? I'm not saying she had them, but is herpes like the bad?
It's one of them.
It's like how we have not healed that yet blows my mind. For whatever reason, I could just be way off the ballpark, but to me, it just seems like that should be something that we should be able to heal at this point. Okay, so is there any other big ones that I'm missing here besides the one that I know nobody else has achieved yet? Because and essentially Jesus has also been able to, like I said, guys, I'm not questioning faith whatsoever. We're just talking this out. Is he was able to bring people that were possessed out of the possession, cast out the demons and everything like that.
Yeah, I don't know enough about that realm. Supposedly, there's people who can do that.
Apparently, there's been people that can do that for a while. I don't know. So anyway, we got all those that we believe is almost, if not completely done. Okay, the one that we haven't, and we'll add turn water into wine in there too, is bring someone back from the dead after 24 hours. And I mean, Jesus waited days to do this. We have not been able to do that yet. Am I correct?
I think so, yeah.
Like if you died, I can't come back in 2 days and then try to resuscitate you. It's not going to happen.
No, they pretty much have to put you on life support within a certain amount of time.
Right, but your heart's still beating.
What do you mean?
On life support.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
only thing,
or they've got something that they're doing to try and keep it beating.
The only thing that and this, I'm getting to a question. I'm helping talking this out so me and you can both see the same playing field. If tomorrow and then the weeks after and then the months after and whatever, this becomes a regular thing, that somebody created something that can bring someone back within a 5-day period of their death. If someone created something like that, Like I said, this is way out in left field. But there's all kind of things out there that's apparently been done. I'm not saying this has. I'm just saying people say stuff's crazy. Let's remind everybody that we fly around in airplanes every day, and it's safer than a car.
Yeah.
Just get that out there. Somebody comes out with something that's in a 5-day period of time, I can bring somebody back to life.
Yeah.
Does that change anything for you?
Nah.
If somebody really?
Yeah. Because once again, somebody went and they've cooked something up. There's some new thing that we didn't have before that's helping. It's helping us do something. Until somebody just straight up, and I mean technically it goes both ways. Like there was people who didn't even believe Jesus was who he was, still don't.
Right.
But there was people who were there, seen it,
right,
and didn't believe it.
Just like us seeing the guy with the tornado.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm being serious.
I know, but he's not Jesus.
No.
But I do get your point.
Yeah.
But then, I mean, it could work both ways. So, like, I think there's a certain point you reach where it's like I genuinely, like, I don't know what it would take for me to not believe.
That's good. That's awesome. Is what I'm saying.
Because I look at it from a very, like, matter-of-fact standpoint.
So what if so that happens, you're still good.
Yeah.
We're able to turn water to wine. You're turning up.
I still don't believe that's
cool.
going to be possible, but go ahead.
Okay, well, that's what I'm saying. Let's take if it is possible out of the mix.
Yeah.
Because we're also talking about a guy that can snap his fingers to bring somebody right back up right there. And you said the perfect word for it. It's essentially magic.
Yeah.
So let's say one day somebody comes to you, and this is just so regular now, and they're like, I'm giving you the opportunity. Obviously, this is not real.
Right.
But let's say it just happens.
Yeah.
I'm giving you the opportunity to come back now and meet Jesus before he dies. I'm giving you the opportunity to where you can go meet him before he dies.
Yeah. I don't know if I'm taking that deal.
Okay, but why are you not taking that deal?
Okay.
Is it because
it feels wrong?
Because it questions the faith?
No, that just seems a little bit too far for me. So there's certain stuff. Maybe I'm a little bit superstitious. Maybe we've never really talked about that.
Well, I'm just saying
but there's certain things that I don't mess with.
You would have. All I'm saying is you would have to go to believe it. Because if I went, even if I came back and me and you were best buddies, and I said, dude, I got to go back in time, dead serious, and I got to see Jesus, and then I got to see him die on the cross. And I'm thinking, what happens if I get him off?
But I think it loses some of the potency, man.
What loses the potency?
The message. You got to have faith.
That's what I'm saying.
So, like, if everybody can just go see him like a gorilla at the zoo,
right? That's what I'm saying. Is that the point where you're like, man, we could do a lot of things. I mean,
I would be questioning. I'm almost so skeptical of, and I hear what you're saying. If it was literally possible,
and I'm on the same boat as you because I don't think time travel is a thing.
But I'm so skeptical that it could be possible. This is how far out I am on the other side of the spectrum. That I would question their methods and techniques. Like, I'm the guy who goes on the trip, and I'm like, how's this machine work?
But you just said you weren't going on the trip.
I wouldn't.
Well, see, then you would never even have the.
Why would I put myself in that position?
I don't know. Kid Rock says he'd love to go back and meet Jesus.
I try to stay up. Well, I don't have to meet him.
I'd like to meet him.
If I know him in here, in my heart, I'm tapping on my chest for the people who's listening.
Right.
Then why do I got to meet him in person?
Man, dude,
he's waiting on me.
I know he's waiting on
me.
I know he's waiting on you.
And we're not that far out, really.
Well,
Realistically.
No.
I ain't got that many days.
no,
So
really don't.
what are we stressing over? Why do I
Man,
gotta go
dude.
see why do I gotta go see him now when I could see him in a little while?
Because he's Jesus, dude. I'd want to see him all the time.
That's greedy. He wouldn't appreciate that.
I don't know. I have a tough time with that one.
That's-
I think he has time
that's
for
greedy.
I think he has time for everybody.
Yeah, but if you're over there trying to just
Yeah, dude.
squeeze up as much of his time, give him some time for some other people who need it. You don't need it as much.
Well, they'll get their time too.
I doubt it.
Oh no, I know so.
You know what? Okay, here we go.
Now
we're playing on my field.
If I got to sit here and talk to Jesus,
Yeah,
the one time where he was like, "Hey man,"
you're gonna ask ignorant stuff.
he was like, I wouldn't even really ask that ignorance to go back in time.
Yeah,
And like I said, I don't think this is possible. I don't even wish this ever happens because then my mind would be spinning. But if for whatever reason it could, like if I had a superpower,
yeah.
and I was like, Jesus was like, my boy, I'm about to grant you with the power to where you can snap and come see me for 5 minutes. Boy, I'm taking that all day. What are you talking about?
I'm not saying that I wouldn't want to see him.
The coolest thing ever.
I'm not saying that I wouldn't want to see him, but imagine somebody you know personally who could use some help. Imagine if you could give your ticket to them.
Oh, yeah. If it was one of those cases, of course.
That would be so much more powerful
Of course. No, I agree with you.
and so much more worth his time.
I know, I agree with you.
Now, we're diving into a little bit of a different thing, but here's my curiosity on that. Why would that break your mind? What about that is mind-bending? Because here's the deal. Let's say they did create it. First off, I'm skeptical. I would definitely think there's some trickery going on.
I'm in the same boat as you do.
Like I would be so skeptical about what's happening that I would. Here's the difference. I have such a hard time believing that they could do that. That I don't know what it would take for me to believe that it was real.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay.
There would be nothing.
Like I've been to Universal Studios.
I think that
they've got some pretty impressive rides. If you did that, but on a little bit higher level, there's definitely some people out there you could trick into believing.
Believe in what?
Anything you want. I don't even care. I could trick you into anything. With some movie magic.
Oh, gotcha.
And I had a studio. Because like when I went to Universal, they had some like stuff that you would go through. You got me. That was solid.
We got a full-blown movie set, brother.
Oh my gosh. That was a really good timing.
Yep.
But the difference is though, like with the moon landing or with if somebody wants to cook up a Jesus, What there was a music awards where they had like Tupac or something, and they did a hologram.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well I went to Universal, and the hologram wasn't good enough for you to believe it. Plus, it's like this is a movie, like obviously there's some.
Tupac was at Universal.
No, dude.
Oh, okay.
He was at a like a music awards, like the BET awards or something.
Gotcha.
No, I was in Harry Potter land. It was a like a elf goblin thing talking to me.
Right.
But it looked pretty good. It was pretty good.
Yeah,
I'm like, they did a good job.
Right.
And they had a bunch of other stuff in there that like really helped sell it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, man, this is impressive. Now imagine if you had $1 billion budget to whip up Jerusalem.
I know.
For Jesus' era, and you pay the money, and they've got Jonathan Rumi, just throwing him out there. I don't think he would actually do this, but somebody who portrays Jesus well, I think.
Right.
And imagine they have real people walking around, and they they send you through a water slide tube, okay, with LED strips.
Crazy.
All right, hear me out. You come out the other side. See, I knew I was gonna get loud.
You're like, why does it smell like Amazon in here?
Smells like chlorine.
Yeah.
You go whizzing through a pipe. You come out the other side. You're in East Texas. It's hot as hell. And you're like, whoa.
John the Baptist pulls you out of the water.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
And they just got you for 20 G's.
I know.
Imagine you paid 20 G's, okay, and they got a bunch of actors,
Yeah.
okay, and you've just been tricked. Like, that's what I'm picturing in my mind. Like, have you ever rode on Space Mountain?
Oh yeah.
All right, and there's all the lights, and you're
yeah.
flying.
Yeah.
Now imagine you get off, and you're there, and John the Baptist.
Shalom.
Yeah, shalom.
Yeah.
You can hear somebody off in the distance preaching real loud. You pull up, and it's Jesus.
Yeah.
What? You just been tricked, my guy. Oh my
shoot.
gosh,
That's awesome.
So
That's awesome because that opens. I'm with you on everything you're saying.
That's what I'm. That's my level of skepticism.
Yeah. I'm with you, and it's awesome to talk to somebody that you have so much faith that you're like, that's fake. Like I have so much faith that that's fake.
Yeah.
Actually, I don't really have that much faith in it. It's fake. But like looking at it as an example here, that's like been one of the biggest conspiracy theories.
If you're listening,
ever.
we're talking about the moon.
Oh yeah,
moon landing.
Yeah,
I should
for anybody
clarify.
that's just listening.
Yeah.
Something that, and you hit on a really, really good point here.
Yeah.
Is as technology advances.
Yeah.
I think it was me, you, and maybe Sam that was talking about. Oh, he sent us that video about the PSYOP stuff. Remember that?
Oh,
the guy with the PSYOP. Did you ever get to watch it?
Maybe not.
So
I'm trying to think which one it was.
I watched a lot of this guy's stuff for a while. It's like how to pick apart when there's a PSYOP, how to do this when there's a whatever.
Depending on what guy, we may have watched the same stuff.
Yeah, and there's a couple of them, but the hardest part is you listen to so many of these, and you're like, what if that's the PSYOP? Like what if him making the videos is the PSYOP? And at like what point? Because this goes back to the conversation me and you just had, and not the one about the questioning any kind of faith or anything like that. Just kind of like seeing different things.
Yeah.
It's like if some guy came up to me and you, and we talk about this all the time.
Yeah.
And they're like, we're going to give you guys the opportunity to go to the moon.
Mm-hmm.
And they said, but we want you to be like, we want you to report on it. We want you to go to report on the moon.
Yes.
And they're like, what we're going to do first is we're going to put you in the most simulated thing ever to simulate the moon.
Mm-hmm.
And you're going to stay there for 10 minutes. And you do whatever you want, whatever. This is after that, I said, we're going to take you to the moon.
Yeah.
And then you're going to tell us how real is it, or if you even distinguish them. And me and you both get on these things, and we both get off, and they're like, how was it? And you're like, that was sick. And they're like, you didn't go to the moon either times.
Yeah.
Like, we just messed up. Or it comes back and they go, well, that's good because we actually took you to the moon twice.
Mm.
And you're like, man, I mean, the only thing that sets us apart from stuff like that and really thinking is we do have the Bible. Mm-hmm. And that's the thing. That's what we trust more than anything.
Right.
But at a certain point, I think you kind of touched on it earlier about almost driving yourself insane, like you're looking too deep into it.
Yeah, I touched on this recently. There is a point at which, like,
the diminishing returns happens.
Yeah, like you wanting to make something out of everything isn't reasonable. Mm-hmm. If every day you wake up and everybody is against you and everybody's telling lies and it's all one big psyop, that sounds miserable. That sounds terrible. And like it makes me think of that Doomsday movie. I can't think of which one it is. It may be 2011.
2012.
Or 2012. Is that the one that's got Woody Harrelson living in a van in like Yosemite?
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
I totally forgot it was him until that part.
Dog, that is exactly what I think happens to some of these cats. Is like you're living in a, and now for him it worked out, but for most people it won't.
Right.
Like imagine you believe everybody's out to get you, and like the government's hiding all this information, and what about this? What about that? But you do it with everything. That's when it gets to a point of like, how do you live?
Right.
That's why I don't let too much of this stuff really even in. Because
the question is, like, what are you living for at that point?
Well, I mean, you can ask that question even without deep diving, but I think you're going to find that question a lot sooner by doing that. If everybody's out to get you, if everything's a lie, if you question literally everyone and everything, and you're not willing to be reasoned with on any of it, then like I genuinely don't know how you're going to be able to live in society.
Yeah. The only thing that
like imagine, like here's what I mean by that. Somebody gives you a spiritual related conspiracy.
They put you on some ashwagandha or something like that. Not ashwagandha, whatever that other one is.
No, I know what you're talking
Ayahuasca.
about. Ayahuasca.
Yeah.
Now that's a little different. I don't know. I know my stance on drugs. I can tell you that I would never do it. Do I think it might help some people? Yeah, maybe it does. I can't speak from experience. But I wouldn't do it. So I probably couldn't 100% wholeheartedly recommend it to somebody. But I think it could help certain people, potentially.
It's such an interesting conversation.
But then imagine there's two sides on that. There's people who are probably like, you're just doing drugs, you know.
Oh, yeah,
versus like the other people who are like, dude, it literally changed my life.
Right.
Or let's say you go down to the Walmart and you don't question nothing. You go, you buy you some groceries, you leave, you go on about your day. Versus you go in there and you're like, I only can buy these green beans because, or this steak or whatever you're buying. I can only get these groceries because they're putting chemicals in these other ones. And look, to a certain degree, yes, they are. If there's pesticides or whatever, that's a chemical, nonetheless. But if you're thinking that like they've got brainwashing stuff in there, like you would go crazy, like trying to prove that you're right.
As someone that kind of thinks that about some stuff.
Yeah, but you're not trying to prove that you're right to anybody. Like, imagine you were trying to prove to everybody you know that you're right. You would go crazy because not everybody's going to believe you.
Oh, no. I really don't care about all that. But, I mean, I'll try to direct people the best I can, but if you don't want to listen, that's cool with me. But there is a certain part, and this is the part, I don't know if this is a good thing or if it's a bad thing, is you just don't care. And is my 65-year-old self going to be telling my 27-year-old self, dude, you should have cared more? Or is it not? I don't have that answer.
I mean, maybe he will, maybe he won't.
Like, I don't have that answer. But what makes me more resilient to all this is I'm just like, I tell you all the time, I'm like, if it's my time to go, it's my time to go.
Right.
And some people don't like that mindset because they're like, oh, I of course I want to live as long as I can live.
Yeah.
But if I can't, I can't. That's it.
Yeah.
I try to do my best. It's all I can do, and I try to help people as much as I can. But if I can't, I can't. So
I know, but I'm just
that
saying,
part. It does suck though because it will start messing with your head a bunch.
Oh, for sure.
Because I go in there looking at calories and everything when I go in Walmart. I better go to Walmart after this.
No, I hear you, but I'm even just saying like if you came to me and said every disease ever is made up.
Okay.
And you genuinely believe that.
Every disease ever is made up.
Yeah. Or like sickness. Every kind of flu or every kind of cold or I would disagree because some of this stuff, from what I understand, has just been around. Some of it people have got from animals.
Okay, the animal part makes more sense.
Hey, some of them have been around. Don't play no crap with me.
The been around's crazy, brother.
Been around.
Like, what does that mean?
It means they was here when we was here, big dog.
Okay, but where'd it come from?
I didn't
the
make
Lord?
it. Maybe.
Yeah, I guess. It's got to be.
And I think that's actually a viable answer. Because, like, leprosy, okay?
Right.
It talks about that in the Bible.
Right.
And they talk about at one point when like the Israelites have separated from Egypt and they're out in the wilderness, blah, blah, blah. And like he's giving them like what you should do if somebody is sick with leprosy and like how they can heal these people.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't tell you where that come from. It was just in the world.
They probably don't know. Like we know where COVID came from.
Yeah, but they didn't have labs back then, big dog.
That's what I'm saying.
So how did they cook up leprosy?
Oh no, I'm not
Or
saying.
Or was it just around?
I'm not saying they're chemically out here making like they're like a mad scientist, like doing all this kind of stuff or whatever. But I don't know.
Yeah, but I'm saying
that
that people aren't out here just cooking up everything that comes along. Like every time you sneeze, it isn't because some guy in a lab cooked that up or some guy in his basement whipped it up in the 1800s.
Cooked up the sneeze?
Yeah.
Or cooked up the stuff in the air that made me sneeze?
More or less.
That's it.
What's in your body that caused the sneeze?
I think it's just the outside world that causes
you. You don't just sneeze for no reason.
Yeah, it's because you get a little sniffle in here or like in here or something like that.
Maybe it's because you breathed in a little something, got up in there.
Yeah, exactly. Something in here.
Yeah.
Something in here is not just like,
Yeah, but it got in you. And your body's blowing it back out.
I know.
Yeah.
I got you.
Unless you're a sun sneezer.
That's fake. Talk about conspiracies here.
Yo, if you are a sun sneezer, put that in the comments. I am. This guy thinks I'm BSing. I go out here, look at the sun right now, and I'll rip a sneeze. For a fact. Too much sun get me sneezing.
That's wild, dude. Future so bright, gotta let a little.
Just saying.
Holy shit, dude.
But my point is, you get my point. Like, if you're going to sit here and be like, if everything's out to get you, every disease ever has been cooked up by somebody out to get you, like, that's no way to live.
No. I agree with you.
That's where I'm getting at with that whole thing.
Yeah.
And so, and sure, I'm not saying that you shouldn't be cautious or think about it or that you shouldn't want to take care of your own body. If you don't like what they're doing with their food you don't want to eat it, don't eat it.
Yep.
Nobody's making you.
Make me.
Well, I mean, maybe. Depends on where you live.
Think for yourself.
Yeah.
Like, it's like one thing we encourage on here. It's like, I have views that John Boy don't have, and John Boy's got views that I don't have.
Yeah.
It's like, just think for yourself, man. I mean, if you think you need to be eating all natural, grass green, grow beef, whatever it is, I butchered that.
Yeah, I don't know where we're going.
I don't know either. But then go get it. I've tried to change over to it lately.
Yeah.
And it doesn't make me feel like any real difference. I like to make me feel like I'm feeling better.
Yeah.
But I can't really necessarily tell. But one thing I was telling John just about a minute ago is try to do things that actually make you feel good.
Yeah.
Like don't gluttony over the thing.
Yeah.
Don't be like really just obsessing over it, but try to. Most of the time, I think I would probably bet if it makes you feel good. Now, I don't mean like shooting up heroin or something like that. Nothing like that. I mean natural things that make you feel good. That's why I somewhat kind of have the same opinion as you do on the whole ayahuasca, whatever it is.
Yeah.
Is, from my understanding, I guess it is pretty natural. But when I was eating ice cream earlier, I got a massive headache after I ate that ice cream.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was good. I loved it. I ate half my wife's too because she didn't want it. But after that,
what flavor? I got to ask.
I got a cookie dough Sonic Blast mini.
Yeah.
410 calories.
Oh, nice.
So I got this stuff tracked. And then Cammie got a Heath Blast from Sonic.
Yep.
470 calories.
Yep. I'll knock one of them right out.
And then Earl got a hot fudge sundae. So it's good. Tasted good, but right after that, my head hurt. So now I'm going to try to get him to remind me, hey, your head hurts after you eat this. You may not need to be eating this.
I wonder if it's just processed sugar.
Could be. It's the chemicals they put in it.
Maybe.
Yep. What I need to actually start doing is just eating more like when I want something sweet, just grab some kind of fruit.
But okay, so let me ask then, as far as that goes, do you think they're doing that on purpose to get you? Oh, shoot. I may have opened up something I didn't want.
To a certain degree.
Oh,
Depends on
yeah.
who's actually making it. If you are a mom and pop shop and you make ice cream and everything, and they go out and they get the stuff, their mindset is not to poison you. It's they want to make they want to make something that's sweet and it tastes good, and we all know sweet things taste good. That's why I married my wife.
Nice touch.
So, anyways,
so are you saying Sonic is purposefully poisoning you?
Purposely, Sonic itself, I don't think is doing it. I think it's the people that make the stuff. Now, pure sugar, I don't think's bad. Really.
Yeah.
You can. So I do think some people digest it better than other people. Yeah. I don't think I'm one of those guys. I just don't think I digest sugar that great.
Well, there you
go. But all the other stuff I think that's probably put into like the ice cream, I don't think it's. Poison might be the right word. I think like perfect example. Lucky Charms, me personally, no kid, especially kid under 18, needs to be eating that.
They're good.
Exactly, and I understand that. The amount of sugar that's in them with every other thing in them, I think it's doing one of two things. I think, number one, I think it just gives kids so much sugar and things to go, it makes your brain foggy. And I don't think it makes you to be able to think most. And me and you could probably almost test this. We could probably go in there and eat 2 donuts, and we could take that same military test that Cammie took, and we would probably get a little bit lower. I would bet, just because it makes your brain harder to process. Unless you're really good with sugar. Most people aren't. It's like I cannot eat a donut before I go into a sales meeting, or I'm effed.
I don't know. As much as I love it and I seem to process it well, I think I'd be okay.
But I do believe in like what RFK, I think that's what his name is doing. I think some of these stuff in there's a malicious thought of it increases things that happens in people, whether that's ADHD, asthma, whatever. There's going to be a part of that, and I think there's another part of it that's just kind of like is neglection. They're like, I'm going to throw this red 40 in there because it makes it look cool.
Yeah,
I don't really know the background on it, but I just know that it's probably not going to do anything bad.
So, if they don't have a bad intent, like in that instance where they're like, you know what, it's going to look cooler, and I don't think it'll hurt nobody.
Yeah.
Or if they. Because here's my other part, like, what about the other ingredients? The stuff that, like, when you read it, you don't know what it is.
I don't think that's good.
See, now that's the stuff that I could say might be questionable.
Yep.
But if I read on there that it's got some sugar, and I don't know what processed sugar means, by the way. I don't know what that means. But I'm assuming that it's just, obviously it's not as it was in the farm.
Yeah.
They've had to do something. So, whatever that means. But then, if there's other ingredients like wheat or grain, and those, I don't think are what's posing the threat.
I don't think so either.
Potentially not even the processed sugar. Your body may just not process it well.
That's very true.
Jordan Peterson talked about that with somebody because he said that was like the biggest lie ever that like he thought was insane was when the food pyramid.
Oh, it's crazy.
Of like
it's the biggest lie in the world.
And so that's what he says too.
It's I could talk about this forever.
And he talked about how much like grain and how much what is it that's in grain? It's like gluten and stuff and different people's bodies don't process that well.
Right.
As well as sugars. And so some of that is more of like the individual base, as well as the type of types of things you're intaking into your body or ingesting. And so to a certain degree, I don't know if people even like they're out to make the best cereal and get the highest number of sales because that's their goal in life. They want to be the best number one selling cereal in America, and they want it to be the best tasting.
Right.
And so
they'll sacrifice anything to make that happen.
Well, and I don't even know if it's that they'll sacrifice it. I think some people genuinely aren't even thinking about it.
That's what I'm saying.
Like they're willing to sacrifice it, but it's because they don't even. To them,
they don't even know.
It's like, yeah, whatever we got to do. You know?
No, I agree.
And they don't even think about the negative effects.
Right.
And that's why here recently when I was talking about some of my supplements, and me and my brother almost got into it, me and Noah,
Noah's taking them hard supplements.
He's learning about, like, he's going on like a deep level with this. Like, y'all should probably have a talk sometime because
I was about to say, you know who else does?
Do you really?
Yes.
I love grinding your gears on this. It's like the only thing I can grind your gears on.
I nerd out about this.
I know you really do know your stuff. And so that's why me and you talk about it sometimes. But
I nerd out about this. Like, you know how many studies I've read on Red 40? Like 20.
I ain't gonna lie
Red
to you.
40 is just a dye you put in things, brother.
Well, yeah, I know it is.
And I've read 20 different papers on the thing.
That's fine. But 20, that's a small sample size. I'm not trying to hurt your feelings.
Hey.
20 more than I've got.
Right.
So there you go. But my point is like my brother, he's going to school for some of this, and we was arguing. And some of the supplements I wanted to take, once I found out that BPN did third-party testing to make sure that what they say you're getting is what you're getting.
Right.
That was kind of a selling point for me because
yeah.
If I'm going to read the ingredients list and this is what I'm going to get, and they send it off to a third party, somebody else who has they don't care whether what you say is true or false. Right. They're just going to prove it.
Yep.
And it comes back accurate. That's awesome. That means you're willing to put your own name on the line to make sure that you're selling quality goods.
Yeah. It's awesome.
Yeah, I vibe with that.
For sure.
And so, if that's what you're into, if you need to take a little extra precaution, do some extra research, then do it by all means.
And some of this stuff, like, you can even just buy it by itself.
Yeah.
Like a lot, like I don't like beta alanine.
Mm-hmm.
That's that stuff that goes in like pre-workouts that like makes your skin crawl. I'm not about it. There's some people I know that takes the same pre-workout I do, but they just go get beta alanine and they just put beta alanine, like pure beta alanine, because they like the thing. It makes them feel good or whatever. Them freaks. But
But that's thinking for yourself, like you said earlier.
Exactly. Exactly. Just if you read something, it doesn't hurt to try to do a little research on the thing.
Yeah.
But if it doesn't prove it's not going to kill you, like the argument I have all the time is about artificial sweeteners.
Yeah.
That they're killing me.
Yeah.
I'm over here dying. And it might be true.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that I'm completely right.
Yeah.
But you know one thing that's on the same list, same section as could cause cancer that artificial sweeteners is, and anybody can look this up, I'm not lying, is aloe vera. You know what aloe vera is?
Yeah.
It's like the grandma's remedy to anything. It's like sunburn, aloe vera. Like burnt your tongue, aloe vera. Tick bite, aloe vera. I mean, it's for all kind of stuff.
Well, Hank, and maybe that depends, though. Like, if you go to the store today and you buy a bottle of aloe vera versus, like I can remember my mom
off the plant.
Literally breaking a plant open.
Yep, I remember that. Yeah. I remember that. I would say if you can get anything from nature before anything touches it, you're probably better off. Now, do your own research.
Yeah, but see, that even goes back into, like, what we said earlier. Like, if you go lick a frog so that you can trip acid for,
that's crazy.
4 hours. That's what one of them is.
Licking a frog?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Or that's where they get it from.
A frog.
And so let me ask you this.
Interesting. I thought they got it from a plant.
I just had a idea, if you want to call it that. Yeah, an epiphany. Well, some of them do come from plants. Like ayahuasca is a tea. And I don't know if it's like leaves that they crush up or whatever. But I think one of them, I don't know if it's DMT or if it's one of those psilocybin maybe. I think they get it off of a frog. Now tell me this. If that is a poison meant to be licked by another animal that's going to eat the frog to keep the frog alive, it's a defense mechanism.
Yeah.
This just hit me. Now, I don't know if this is true or not. This is all coming right off my dome.
Hit me.
If it's a defense mechanism, is that wise then to be licking that frog?
Probably not. But
people be doing it.
Or
they be extracting it.
Some people say they'd be getting good stuff out of it.
Yeah. So
you know what's interesting is we got to go here in just a minute. But I would love to get somebody on here that has had has went on one of those journeys.
Yeah.
And like really talk about it, because a lot of people, they don't really want to. And I think it might be because it is something so personal to them that they don't want to talk about it. But
some of it is just how scary it is.
Like I know Sean Ryan's kind of talked about it a little bit.
Yeah.
And then
I wonder if I've got a friend who I remember talked about it. I wonder if he ever did it.
He had another guy that they were kind of talking about their experience that they've went through. But yeah, I often wonder, is like, there's some people that's probably not for.
I may have to text that guy and just see.
You may have to try it. Come back and report.
I told Connor. I told Connor I couldn't do it. It scares me.
No, I'm with you.
Imagine tripping for 12 hours.
Oh yeah,
that's how long one of them takes.
I ain't tripping for 5 minutes, brother. I get up
half a day. Half a day. You're not even in your right mind.
Oh, I know. It's crazy.
What if you live another life?
Some people say it's in your right mind.
I know, but
just have to get some kind of expert on here. They might have to try it one day. I ain't about doing no drugs because it's I often think, I'm not comparing them, but I'll leave everybody with this. If, like I said, not saying this is bad.
Right.
I've never tried it. I don't really ever plan on trying it. But some people obviously had really bad effects from the thing.
Yeah.
It's like, we almost need to create a new section in the drug category that's like beneficial drugs and like not beneficial drugs, because I don't see anybody going to enlightenment and taking meth. It's like not a thing, but it's like you see people going to this ashwagandha. Is that what
ayahuasca?
Ayahuasca, my bad. I keep thinking of the one that's in the pill form.
Yeah, you don't buy this at Walmart.
Yeah. They go to that one and they have like an enlightenment. It's like caffeine. Most people take caffeine and it's an enhancer. It's like, then you got cocaine over here. It might be an enhancer for 2 seconds.
Right.
But then after that, you're going down. We ought to create a whole new category here.
That'd be a fun little exercise.
I think the category of and I could be wrong here when it comes to the definition. I can't remember the exact one. But nootropics is like drugs that benefit you versus like ones that don't. But
kind of, yeah.
We'll have to do some research on that.
Yeah.
Guys, this has been a good one.
Yeah.
I had a good conversation here. John, you got anything for the fans?
Like, subscribe, share. Please send this out to somebody. Get the word out. Thank you for watching, and have a good one.
That's it, guys. We're out. Later.